गाइस वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। और आज हमारी क्लास सस्पेंड है क्योंकि कौन आ रहा है आज?
डॉक्टर डेविड पैट
सॉरी,
को देख के बात
डॉक्टर पैट्रिक कॉर्बेट। हाँ, ये न्यूयॉर्क से आ रहे हैं और सेमिनार हमारा है और मैं उसकी वीडियो उसकी भी क्लिपिंग्स डालूँगी और
तुम बता।
और हो सकता है कि ये आपके लिए भी बेनिफिशियल हो। और यूनिवर्सिटी में ऐसी काफ़ी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ लोगों को मिलती हैं जिससे हम लोग फॉरेनर्स को भी सुन सकें, फॉरेन कंट्री के जो लेक्चरर्स होते हैं उनको भी सुन सकें, है ना? ठीक है।
स्पेशली इंग्लिश डिपार्टमेंट में
सारे डिपार्टमेंट में होता है बट इंग्लिश में आज है हमारा, तो आई विल गिव द ग्लिम्स ऑफ दैट।
Now, of course, he has to share this gift with his entire department. But once they discover what it is, I'm sure they're going to let him do the work. Okay, so before I begin, I want to tell you, yes, this talk is 100% my own, in as much as any academic scholarship can be one's own, generated from my current book project. But the presentation itself is generated procedurally, meaning I used AI to design it all. So that is a first for me, but I decided if I was going to come here to talk about AI as a subject, I really wanted to understand the realities of working with it in practice rather than just talking about it in theory. So here we go. Let's start a bit by talking about where AI will take us as a field. Exploring the essence of subjective meaning and how it's composed is fundamental to the humanities. Studying how we make meaning is not just something taught in humanities-based courses, but part of how we define the work itself. This is the case because humanities focus on cultural production, particularly through the creation, circulation, and reception of its artifacts, like books. So of course, artificial intelligence, AI for short, is immensely interesting to humanists, despite it being a mechanistic subject. AI is not just an artifact of culture, but also a means of producing it, and one that potentially affords heretofore difficult to imagine capacities and challenges for symbolic communication. Now, before I go on, you all can understand me speaking like this? Yes. Yes? Okay.
Not if I speak really fast, but right.
The humanities are a natural place, then, to take up the challenge of exploring the influence of AI. AI provides us with a new order of tools to interact with and create meaning. Anyone with an internet connection and a few dollars in their pocket can use AI to produce coherent, cohesive, and developed chunks of pre-organized content in multiple modalities and across multiple media. They can control the input and output parameters of production with better than modest precision, and they can do that without any training and virtually no practice. Until very recently, this was impossible. Creating software that mimicked some human-like ability was an expertise-intensive and expensive proposition that was only found in research labs. Now, it's an out-of-the-box solution available everywhere. Now, unlike automation tools, which I'll also talk about, which we rely on in some degree to do all of our work, we all use automation, even just if it's for sorting emails or digital files. AI engines don't just produce information. They mimic the building of conceptual meaning, and they're getting really good at it. AI is the evolution of the symbolic machine. And the symbolic machine is a class of digital information tool that's capable of operating independently of one-to-one input and output. Conceptually, AI functions by ingesting various corpora, the corpus, bodies of information. They ingest various corpora of symbolic artifacts, and then they organize and output different algorithmically determined symbolic artifacts. These resulting artifacts are not predictable based on our inputs. To capture that phenomenon, we say these artifacts are emergent. Sharing meaning created by a third machine, do we even call it meaning by any human measure? If a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, does it make a sound? These are the kinds of questions that humanists do really well with because we insist on exploring the human subject and human activity with complexity. We are driven to look beyond the information, beyond the data, to the manifest impact of these phenomena on the individual, on the collective, and on culture more generally. The humanities reminds us that no matter what we are discussing, our discussions rest within the realm of human endeavor. And the advent of AI reminds us that humanistic perspectives are just as important to innovation and inspiration as good engineering practice and science. Studying the humanities, the humanities reminds us that no matter what we are discussing, our discussions rest within the realm of human endeavor. And the advent of AI reminds us that humanistic perspectives are just as important. Just as important as good engineering and practice as science. So studying the humanities encourages one to think about the contours and the possibilities of this experience. Insofar as that experience intersects with and is influenced by AI, we should all, as humanists, have something really interesting to say.